Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everybody doing? This is M Coach Let's Go. It's Maria Torres, hashtag M Coach Let's Go. I want to tell you that I am a 51-year-old wife, mother, grandmother, daughter-in-law. And good morning. Please tell me where you're joining me from, please. And hi, good morning. I dedicated most of my life taking care of other people, and I lost myself by doing so. I gained 260 pounds. I've been able to lose 80 pounds. And what I do is that I show other ladies my age, younger or older, to take away that stigma of age, and become a better version of yourself by, taking care of your body, your mental health, and showing other people how to do so. Anyways, with that being said, today I did not have a topic, and I did not know what I was going to talk about today. And I am a faith believer that God puts me in places where I need to be. And from the moment I wake up and I do my journaling and I do my gratitudes and my affirmations, I was thinking about what I should bring today to get ready with Apple this morning. And in my heart, it told me to open the book in any page of this book and read to you what it says, right? Joel Osteen, and I'm going to give you a little bit of a story, right? Not to go into too much details. 15 years ago, 20 years ago, I had a vice, and it consumed my body and my heart. And I used to smoke, drink, and other things. And one day after my birthday, I asked God to give me another chance in life because I was nearly dying. And I asked God to give me another chance for my children. And if he did so that night and I woke up the next morning, I would never touch the vice again, and I would try to better my life. 14 years later, I have never used the vice again. I may drink socially, like a drink here or there. I have a cabinet full of drinks and I don't drink. And I quit smoking 4 years ago. So my life turned around. But with that, every stage of your life, you have people or things that help you go through it. And he doesn't know, but I read a book by Joel Osteen while I was becoming sober. It was How to Become a Better You. And it was a blue cover. It had his face. And that book helped me to become sober. Apart from my discipline, apart from God and the wanting and the desire to become sober, Joel Osteen allowed me to create that relationship with God, right? I had lost my relationship with God when my dad died in 1997, and I was very angry at God, and that trickled down to a lot of other things, right? And my story is long, and I'm giving you snippets of it, and I'm becoming vulnerable because your life could change. If you're in a position where you have a vice, or you have an addiction with food, or you have an addiction with novelas, or you have an addiction with gossiping, or you have an addiction of being mean, or everything is an addiction. Everything becomes an addiction in life, right? I'm telling you that there's a way. There's a way. If you ask God from your heart to take away things from you, it happens. It happens. And the reason why I'm coming in here today talking about it is because I told God to give me, I didn't know. I always am prepared with what I'm going to bring to the table on Get Ready with Abu. But today, I wanted to become personal. Today, I wanted to tell you about my 14 years sober without the vice, right? And I am the most happiest. I've grown in these 14 years, especially the last 3. But at the beginning, I did not know how to go about it. I did not know how to navigate. I went to NA. I went everywhere. I went to church. I spoke to my priest. I read his book, and his book helped me. I read it like 3 times in 2 years, and that book was an eye opener to me that God does exist, and that I needed to forgive myself for believing that being entitled to be mad with God. Who am I to be mad with God, right? But those are the things that happen through your head when, my dad died and he didn't give me a chance to see him, so I was mad at him. But, with that being said, today I'm not going to take a lot of time, but I am going through a stage in my life where I've done a lot of personal development. I go to church almost every Sunday. I believe in God. I praise God any moment and any time I have, but because my belief is that with God everything, or with God nothing. And I remember starting this journey with entrepreneurship and personal development and reading the 4 agreements, right? And the 4 agreements tells you that we are built in other people's beliefs, right? And our beliefs are from our parents. Like our name, we didn't get to choose it, right? Our parents did. Our religion, we didn't get to choose it. Our parents did. Our everything, like, don't go to sleep with your hair wet, because when you wake up, you're going to have sinus infection. All those beliefs come from another person's belief, right? Which I'm very grateful for, because some of the traits that they instilled in me are characteristics that I couldn't be me without them, right? But one of the things that I sat down after reading the 4 agreement, and one of the things that I had to come to understanding was my religion. Why was I Catholic? Did I really like the Catholicism? Did I really like the tradition? Did I really like, because I love going to other churches and other denominations, and I like to listen to pastors, and I get in, I love it, right? So I sat down with my own self, and I did a soul search after reading the 4 agreements, and I did understand that my religion is Catholicism, and I love it, and I love sitting there, and I love the tradition, and that's my church, right? However, I do respect everybody with everybody else's religion, because, to be honest with you, there's only one God. There's only one God. Okay? Now, the reason why I told you that story is because Joel Osteen, as you know, has his own church. Right? Even though I wasn't happy with him with New Orleans, but whatever. I forgave him. Anyways, I pray for him and his wife and his church. And Joel Osteen is a great author. That is one thing you cannot take away from the man. He knows how to write his books, man. He does know. So I am going to read to you the beginning of chapter 3. It's a long paragraph, and this is where I'm at right now, and I'm going to read it to you to tell you a snippet of what I have almost every morning when I read this book, right? Or when I have a chance to read the book. I haven't been reading religiously, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so let's go. In chapter 3 of this book that says, your creator is coming, it says, Your wings are coming. We all face situations that look as tough as though they are permanent. In our career, it seems as though we've reached our limit. We have much bigger things in our spirit, and we know God promised. Hold on, I forgot to give water to the dog. Hold on. Sorry about that. Okay, we all face situations that look as though they are permanent. In our career, it seems as though we've reached our limit. We have much bigger things in our spirit, and we know God promised. But when we look at our bank account, it says we're stuck. When we look at the medical report or we look at the problem in a relationship, there's no sign of improvement. But the scripture says, the things we see are temporary, but the things we can't see are eternal. Don't get discouraged by what you see. It's not permanent. One translation says, the things we see now are here today and gone tomorrow. That means that they are subject to change. Your son may be, of course, but he's subject to change. Your health may not be good, but is subject to change. Thoughts will tell you you'll never get well. You'll never meet the right person. Instead of being discouraged, turn it around today and say, yes, it may look that way, but I know a secret. It's subject to change. You can't be moved by what you see. You have to be moved by what you know. God is on the throne. He's working behind the scenes. What he promises will come to pass. And let me tell you something. I had never read this part. I am going to tell you this. Like I told you at the beginning of the life, when I asked God to take away my addiction 14 years ago, he promised me to make me a better person. And I believed. I believed in his word, and I believed that he was going to heal me. And for 14 years, he has kept his promise. So if you're out there and you don't know where your north is, you don't know where your south is, you don't know where your east is, you don't know where your west is, please pick up a book. It could be Joel Osteen's, or it could be a personal development. Go on YouTube. Listen to motivators. Get on a base religion that their base is God. Look for him. Because with God, everything is possible. Without him, nothing is possible. And I am so grateful for him. So grateful for him. He has done miracles in my life that only people that have lived in my life know what those miracles are. And I am indebted for the rest of my life with God, because I know that my dreams are going to come true, because he put them in my heart, not in yours. Just like your dreams were put in your heart. Your desires were put in your heart, because he places them there. So go out there and make God proud that he chose you to do what your purpose was meant to be. And to close, I'm going to give you a little story, just a quick little story. A quick little story of how I became smoke-free. That was my second miracle. My first miracle was 14 years ago. My second miracle was 4.5 years ago. So I am sitting at the hospital with upper respiratory. I have been smoking cigarettes for the past 23 years. And I'm never gonna stop smoking because I love cigarettes, right? I love the smell. I love the way I looked. I love smoking, right? However, I kept on suffering of upper respiratory infection. And whoever doesn't know that, it's a chronic asthma with flu, with body aches, bronchitis, all together. It's horrible. Anyways, so when Charlotte was born, our 8-year-old granddaughter was born, I started seeing this commercial, this ad about Disney cruises. So when she was like 4 years old, she already knew about the cruises, and like 3.5, she already knew about the cruises and whatever. And every time I would see the cruise in the TV and Disney Channel, I would say, when you turn 10, I'm going to take you to the Disney cruise. That's not going to happen because half of the family don't want to be in water. But anyways, I'll probably go with her alone. Anyway, so I will always tell her that. I will always tell her, when you turn 10, we're going to go ahead and go to Disney. Well, November, I don't remember the year. November of the year before, April 20th. The year before that. The year before April, that November. I go to church and I drop on my knees, and after Mass, and I ask God in the altar. They were saying, put in a little paper and drop it in a basket of what you want to leave in the altar. And I put cigarettes. And I kept on talking to people that are, my God sent angels, like Joycey, Robert, Pastor Jonah, and all of those people. And I kept on talking to them about, especially Robert and Joycey, I kept on talking to them about, I want to really quit smoking. At that point, I really wanted to quit smoking because I couldn't anymore. I couldn't. Every 2 months I had upper respiratory. Erica knows about it, and she's in this life. I was always sick. So, Lord and behold, I keep on praying, and I keep on putting the little paper in the prayer box. I want to quit smoking. I want to quit smoking. So March, they take me to the hospital. I almost had, I still have the residual, by the way. I had upper respiratory with bronchitis, and my lungs were very weak because of the coughing. Mind you, I was asthmatic. And as I'm sitting there in the hospital with oxygen and with steroids and getting fatter and fatter and fatter, and that plays with your mental health, I cried. And I said, God, I can't do this anymore. So fast forward to April 20th. I was smoking a cigarette outside with Claudia, my friend, and Vivian, and in the apartment. And I go inside, and when I look at my box of cigarettes, the box of cigarettes had only one cigarette. Charlotte was sleeping in the bed because she had gastro problems, and we would tune her. We had a special bed in the room where she would sleep with me, or she would sleep with Nicole or with Tony, because her gases were really bad. So that day it was my turn to sleep with Charlotte, and Nicole was sleeping in her bed. And I go to Nicole, we don't have cigarettes for tomorrow. You know how the traffic is. And she goes, Mom, I'm not going to the gasoline station. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go and get cigarettes. So I go to the gasoline station, smoke my last cigarette on the way. Mind you, the gas station was walking distance. So I go to the gasoline station and I buy 2 packs of cigarettes, one for me and one for Nicole. And I smoke 2 cigarettes on my way back home. One when I get in the car, when I open the pack, and one before I came into the apartment. So I go to sleep. I go inside, take a shower, wash my mouth, my hands, whatever, thinking that would do anything for the baby, but whatever. Don't judge me. I go to sleep. I go into this deep sleep. I knew I wasn't dead because I had just gone to the gasoline station. You know, Capricorn's mind is really F up, right? Like, really bad. Like, we think we know it all. So even in my sleep, I'm like very stubborn, and I'm very like, no, this is what's gonna happen in my dream, right? So I go to sleep. I'm dreaming. I'm in a white room and I'm in a bed. And I see Nicole over me and I see Anthony next to me. I don't see my mother-in-law and I don't see my mother and none of the people that came to say goodbye to me. Lord and behold, I start believing that I'm dead already. Like, it took me like 15 minutes to realize that I was not in a dream anymore. I was dead. And everybody was coming to say bye to me. In this dream, I was vividly shaken. Like, I can't explain the words, right? All of a sudden, I'm like, God, but this is not possible. I was just awake. So in the dream, I start believing I'm dead already. So I start crying. So in the bed next to Charlotte and Nicole, my tears were coming down my eyes, right? In the dream, tears weren't coming down. I was dead. All of a sudden, the door of the hospital bedroom in my dream opens up and there's this huge light. I'm like, oh shit, I'm going into heaven. And this beautiful blonde girl, green eyes, comes in tall, 10-year-old, 9-year-old. And I'm like, holy shit, that is Charlotte. And I'm like, Charlotte, I'm not dead. She comes walking inside. Nicole is crying on top of me. She goes like this to me in my dream. She goes, you lied to me. And I'm like, no, Charlotte, I'm not dead. I swear, Abuelita's not dead. She goes, you lied to me. And I looked at her and I'm like, what the hell? She goes, I am going to turn 10 in November. It's July. And you died because you couldn't stop smoking. Mind you, she was lying down next to me and she was only 3 years old. When I took my breath in that dream and sat up and saw Nicole and she was like, Mama, are you okay? And I saw Charlotte. I said, I'm not smoking ever again. Ever again. So that's number 2. And it's been 4 years. It's going to be 4 years now on April 20th. 4 years without smoking a cigarette. 4 years. So whoever you believe in, I believe in my God. I believe in him. He's my everything, right? And I also believe that he sent angels to help us with our day-to-day. I just love Joel Osteen as an author. And let me read it again to you. Don't get discouraged by what you see. It's not permanent. The things we see now are here but gone tomorrow. That means that they are subject to change. Everything changes. Your health may not be good, but it's subject to change. Your son may be off course, but it's subject to change. Your dream may seem impossible, but it's subject to change. You'll never get well. Your thoughts, your mind, your negativity, you'll never get well. You'll never meet the right person. Instead of being discouraged, turn it around and say, yes, it may look that way, but I know a secret. It is subject to change. You can't move by what you see. You have to be moved by what you know. God is on the throne. He's working behind the scenes. And what he promised will come to pass. He promised me when I asked him on my knees to take away my addiction, he promised me freedom. And I got it. I've been sober for 14 years. He promised me, leave it in the altar. Leave your cigarette, your desires, leave it in the altar. I'll come and I'll see it to pass. April 20th, 2023 is going to be 4 years that I don't smoke a cigarette. Believe. Believe. And with that being said, remember. It may look that way that you can't change everything. Everything comes to pass. Remember to say, yes, it may look that way, but I know a secret is subject to change. Love you all. This is M Coach Let's Go. Hashtag M Coach Let's Go. I love you all. See you tomorrow for another Get Ready with Abu. This is episode 4 out of 30. Comment if you replay it. I love you all. Comment number 2 if you replay it. If you haven't followed me, follow me. If you want to know more about what I do, link in my bio. Go ahead and fill out forms. There's 2 forms. Go ahead and fill them out. Let's have a chat. Let's see where I can help you, whether it is mentally, physically, with products, with everything. I just want to help. I just want to change your life. Dígame, mamacita, dígame. Have a beautiful Friday. Que hoy el cuerpo lo sabe.